Shalom. If you can hear me now, can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now.
There you go.
Let me know if you can hear me now. Let's see.
I can check the stream. Let me see.
Let's see.
All right, it's
Okay.
on now.
All right, that's a bet then. All right, so let's just start it over from the top, right? We are the I.S.U.P.K. We started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, under Commander General Yohana, established in 1969. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We teach the truth according to the Bible that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen people. All right, today's topic is about rank and order. Like I was just stating, that rank and order is important in making things run well, making things run efficiently, right? Things run efficiently. So rank is not for to think of as like power. I'm this. I'm captain and general and a lieutenant, and I deserve. You know what I mean? Like it's not about that. It's about making sure things run smoothly. On top of that, with rank comes responsibility. Like it's just not you having the power, because you do have the power, but again, when you think of people like brothers like Christ, who was the head, and he served the men above men under him. You know what I mean? Because that's the responsibility you have as a leader, having that power. So let's get back to it. Read Exodus one more time for me.
This is Exodus chapter 15, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord is a man of war.
The Lord is a man of war. It's like that's the thing that's important to know and understand. The Lord is a man of war, and the Bible says he's the Lord of hosts. The word host means army. When you think about war, you're thinking about all of it. Like war is why there needs to be rank and order. That's why, because war could be life or death. You understand? And if there is someone or something someone that has a certain skill or a certain level of strength, they need to be placed in positions to be able to make the war, to win the war, right?
That's right.
So that's why you see the Lord establishes order and says that, the man is the head, right? That the man is who he instills his authority into, who he instills his dominance into. So we already know that when it comes to hierarchy, the man, according to a nation, is going to be the head, right? Because of the way the man thinks, the things that we have that are vital towards, overcoming, the wiles of Satan, right? Or anything when it comes to even physically, like, right, our genetic makeup would allow us to endure or to overcome, different obstacles a way that a woman wouldn't be able to, mentally, physically, spiritually, all the above. Okay, even in the household, right? It's war. Like we have war that are attacks on our households. We have wars inside of our households. Right. So if rank and order is necessary when we're talking about war, when we talk about decency, when things need to be ran smoothly, So again, let's go ahead and read back at 2 Timothy. Let's get down there real quick.
Come.
All right. So rank is not for, to say somebody's over somebody when the regards of this person, it's about their power and what they have. It's more so that the Lord given increase for those that he put in position to make sure that things run efficiently. And because we know that rank comes with responsibility, we know that, it's not an easy thing just being a leader. You know what I mean?
Right.
So even when you think about in the army, in comparison to a household, it's not easy. The black man is the head of the household. His black, Hispanic, Native Indian man is the head of the household. But again, like a lot of women look at that as like, oh, well, we're inferior. And we know this, how can the man be the ruler and why can't the woman be the ruler when the responsibilities that a man has, a woman would not be able to take care of.
Right.
She would not be able to bear those burdens that a man has as a leader. You understand? So that's why you see a lot of these single parent homes are falling apart and women are stressed out, and those burdens are overwhelming for them because it takes that man to be able to lead and create that balance, in that household for, that burden to be distributed the way it needs to be distributed. But let's go ahead and read what we got out.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3.
Yeah.
Thou therefore endure hardness.
Do what?
Endure hardness.
Endure hardness, right? So in America and in any place that we are in the earth, like we are in captivity, right? There's going to be temptation. There's going to be habits that we have that we've gotten, in our ignorance, right? That we've acquired in our ignorance, like smoking, like getting high, homosexuality, for whoredom, like all of these things that we have to fight. You understand? We have to fight. We have to fight to let it go, to overcome those evils, and then we have to fight to keep it away, right? To fight to stay perfect. So we have to do what?
Endure hardness.
Endure what?
Hardness.
Endure hardness, man. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be easy, man. Getting off of drugs ain't easy.
Right.
You understand? Running a household ain't easy. Being a wife ain't easy. Being a leader is not easy. All right. You have to endure hardness. Go ahead.
As a good soldier.
As a good what?
A good soldier.
As a good what?
A good soldier.
Right. At the end of the day, like I said, the Most High is a man of war. You understand? We as a nation are his hosts. You know what I mean? We, the black man, the nuclear black family, the nation of Israel, we are the host of the Lord, right? We are the reason, like our men gather together in ranks. We run the offices that are in the host of the Lord, that are in the army of the Lord. The offices that we hold as captains and officers, all are the work of the Lord. So we form up in ranks. We establish those offices. We run those offices, and we ultimately run our nation. Right, when it trickles down into our communities, into our households. Right, that's why the black man is necessary in the household, to be able to be that bridge from the Most High to the women and children. Right, so we are soldiers. Right, we are soldiers, and we have to endure hardness. We cannot be weak. Things that are opposing in our lives, like the different, religions that are out here, the different ideologies, all of the things that that influence us, we have to endure through. We have to know that those things are set up to be able to dilute what the Lord is setting up, to be able to dilute what the Lord set up already, right? So you cannot, like, this is why it says two cannot walk together unless they agree. Like, we have to come together, one body, one mind, but that rank establishes the order, right?
Right.
Go ahead and read up.
As a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. No man that warreth.
No man that do what?
Warreth.
Right. We at war. All of this stuff that we going through is war. You understand? Like I said, we in the I.S.U.P.K and the Commander Jenny Hanna, we hold ranks. You know what I mean? We have generals, captains, officers, and we're at war. You understand? We're at war. Being able to have these ranks and have that order helps us to be able to carry out anything that we like. Anything, like if you look at it from attacks, or if you look at it from acquiring any information, or you look at it from protection wise, like when Commander Jenny Hanna gives the order that this is the wisest thing to do to be safe, those things are going to be passed down for the nation to be safe. Right. You understand? When Commander Jenny Hanna passes down the order for this to be, for us to be able to go here and attack this, then order's going to come down, and we're going to attack and defend our nation, defend ourselves. So again, like, if you have people, like I said, when you have these different religions and ideologies, and we all doing something different, we're all under different orders. We're all following different orders. There's no unity there, right? It's just confusion and chaos. Nobody knows what to do. This person is doing one thing. This person is doing another thing. They doing this over there. They doing this over there. The dad is doing this. The mom is doing that. The children is doing whatever they want to do. This, this family is doing this. That family is doing that. Like, it's an array of confusion and chaos. So when it says right now, read it again. That part again.
Verse 4. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
Right. No man that warreth entangle themselves with the affairs of this life. Like, we have to get all those things out of our head. Those emotions and those feelings, oh, how can he be over me? Or how can, no, why do I have to listen to him? Or, the black woman is God, and I believe that we all equal, and all of those ideologies is garbage, right? And when we entangle ourselves with those things, we lose in war, right? Because we are at war. We at war. Like, it's a spiritual war that's going on, where we're being attacked by evil spirits, and we are welcoming in those evil spirits, and it's causing us to fall and be destroyed as a nation.
Right.
Okay. And in order for us to have the things that we want to have as a nation, as a family, we have to fight the war. We have to fight. You understand? We have to fight those thoughts and those religions and those ideologies and those feelings that we have. Right? Go ahead and read that part one more time.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. Mm-hmm. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier.
You understand? Because when we're fighting these wars, right? We're fighting these wars in our communities and our households, fighting the battle, which is staying lawful, following the law, statutes, and commandments. We're pleasing the man who called us to be soldiers. We're pleasing the man who created us to be the children of Israel, right? His chosen people. Right. And if when we do that, we says what? We got the blessings that come with that. Like I said, we can have a better quality of life. So, we can't entangle ourselves with these things that's going on, and being able to have knowing that we're at war and that we're soldiers, having that rank and order is how those things are going to be established.
Right.
Right. Because again, without rank and order and without without the Most High and Christ being the head over the man and the man being the head over the woman and the woman over the children, our whole nation is destroyed. All right, go ahead and drop that, and let me get 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. Everything is destroyed, man. We because the connection that we have is with the man that called us to be soldiers. That's it. The Most High created all mankind, and he chose the nation of Israel and called us to be soldiers. So if we not following these laws, statutes, and commandments that he told us to follow, then we're not pleasing the Most High, right? We're not pleasing the Most High. If we're disconnected from his teachings and that truth and that doctrine, then we're lost. And then being lost doesn't make you unaccountable, for what you do wrong. All right, go ahead and read.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40.
Good.
Let all things be done decently and in order.
Let what?
Let all things.
Let what things?
All things.
Let all things, man. Like, this is not just talking about military, us being a part of an army and being given orders to go to camp and orders to hold class and orders to pick up the chairs and orders to drop this off, get that paperwork done. That's not the only thing that we need to have decency and order in. We need to have decency and order in our homes. We need to have decency and order in our communities, right? These things, we need to have decency and order in all things. Go ahead and read it from the top.
Let all things be done decently and in order.
Right. Everything needs to be done. Any more than that?
Lies.
Everything needs to be done in decency and in order. Like, you got to think about, like, for instance, like, how many times, like, when we say brotherhood and rank and order, like, tell me how many times we done gotten a fight over who gonna get shotgun in the car. You know what I mean? Like, I got shotgun. We ready to fight each other. We standing at the front door like this. You know what I mean? Fighting each other, trying to pulling him out. He pulling me out. I'm trying to hop in. He pulling, and we really end up probably throwing the hands. But when you have rank and order, it's like, okay, well, he's over me. You know what I mean? So he gets the front seat. I'll just get in the back. You know what I mean? And it's established. Right? It causes decency. Like, now we don't have to fight no more.
That's right.
We don't have to fight to get things done. We don't have to fight each other to make decisions. This is what rank is for, to make things more efficient. You know what I mean? Even when it comes, like, who wants to take the trash out, right? I mean, I know some brothers don't mind and some sisters don't mind, like, but at the end of the day, it's, nobody really wants to take the trash out, so they want to be the ones that's, standing on the front line, conquering this and doing all the important jobs and everything else. But, somebody has to take the trash out. Right. So instead of there being dispute about who's going to take the trash out, we could just give the order to somebody that's in the rank, right? In your ranks, like somebody over another person and say, hey, you take the trash out. And it'll just be kind out of one kind. Or you cook today. or do you do this? You know what I mean? Do this right here. Get that done. And then take away all of the confusion and all of the chaos. You understand? That rank and that order is brotherhood. It helps eliminate the disputes. All right, drop that real quick.
Sir.
Let me get Matthew chapter 10, verse 24. All right.
Okay.
So again, like we talk about rank and order, and we talk about decency, and we talk about the responsibility that comes with having rank and the elimination of the rank, the presence of rank and order and decency. I mean, being able to avoid decency, create decency. We use Christ as the great example for that, right? Christ is a great example of that because of what we about to read right now. Ready to read?
Okay. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 24. Mm-hmm. The disciple is not above his master.
Right, the disciple is not what?
Above his master.
All right, so the disciple is not above his master. Hold on 1 second. Because I got a precept for this as well. The disciple, okay, so nonetheless, the disciple is not above his master, right? So when we think about Christ, right? Christ is the master, right? He's the Adawan. He's the leader at this time. And his disciples are his students or his followers. So when it comes to like something being said, they're going to follow his orders because he's over them. What does it say again?
It says the disciple is not above his master.
The disciple is not above his master. Go ahead.
Nor the servant above his Lord.
Nor the servant above his Lord, right? So again, like order and rank is always been since the beginning of time. You know what I mean? Christ was over, the disciples. Moses was over, Aaron, you know what I mean? And Aaron was over the brothers and the sisters, like the elders of Israel and the elders of Israel and so on and so forth. Like there was always rank and order. All right, go ahead and read.
Verse 25. Mm-hmm. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what does it say? What does it say? Is it enough for the disciple as he be as his master? What does that mean? What does that mean?
If I could.
Go ahead,
It would mean that he's following the example that his master put before him.
Right. Because their master are wiser. They're wiser men, right? You're not there because, we got favor in you. You know what I mean? You're not there because this person has favor. You're here because you're suitable for this job. That that we know you as a leader of these people will be able to give them adequate enough information or examples like leadership for them to get to the next level. Right. So read it again.
Verse 25. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master.
Good.
And the servant as his Lord.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, continue.
If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, mm-hmm. how much more shall they call them of his household?
So go down. What I want to get at is I think probably 20. See, give me 20 right quick.
Verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
For it is not that ye speak, but the spirit of your Father which speaketh in you.
Drop down to 22.
Verse 22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Mm-hmm. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
Go ahead.
But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another.
Okay, drop that. No sweat. Just drop that. It's another chapter. But longer the story short, that their rank was always established in heaven and earth. And we see it in our job, in our workplaces. Like a company wouldn't be able to become Fortune 500 without there being a hierarchy. You understand? Without there being CEOs and bosses and supervisors and managers and team leads and so on and so forth. Like it has to be an order. And these positions are filled because these people have shown something that says that they're adequate enough to be here and run this position, that the people under them will be able to benefit from what they are able to do. Right. So that's why it says that we should be as the master, or we should be as the Lord. Like we should follow them. Like we should look after them. We should get counsel from them, so on and so forth. Same thing applies in your household. You know, the woman, if the man is the head of the woman, then the woman should be able to lean on her husband, right? And the kids should be able to lean on the mother, so on and so forth, because the man is in a position to be able to lead over his woman and his children, right? And protect them and provide them, like the Bible says a man should provide, you know, giving them the truth, teaching them the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
All right, drop that real quick. Let me get Exodus 18 and 21. Get Exodus. All right, let me get that one.
This is Exodus chapter 18, verse 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Yahweh.
Right. So we should provide what? Able men. What is that talking about?
People that are capable of following orders.
Right. So capable of following orders, people like in a position, not only able but apt. You know what I mean? Like they're not only able but they qualify. They qualify to be able to lead. They qualify to defend. They qualify to protect, or whatever the case may be. Read it one more time.
Verse 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men.
Go ahead.
Such as fear Yahweh, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them.
Right, place such over them, because there has to be rulership, not just over other nations, but rulers, like I said, in the communities. Not now, but rulers in the communities, right? Like this is what it's talking about. Like we're talking about the kingdom, our kingdom, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Like there has to be not only men who are put over them that are able, but they have to be what? They have to fear the Lord.
Right.
Because again, that's what being a true provider is, right? You're providing them with righteousness. You're able to, be a good example. Like they say, why callest thou me good? There's none good but the Most High in heaven, right? They call Christ good because he feared the Lord, right? He feared the Lord. He was perfect. He followed the law, statutes, and commandments. The Lord had favor in him, right? For that reason. So again, this is like prerequisite, right? You have to fear the Lord. You know what I mean? You have to be courageous. You know what I mean? You can't be, soft and weak and scared. You got to be courageous. You got the spirit of Christ, that zeal, right? And the knowledge. Right, so there's always been rank and order. There's rulership among people. Like I said, it's different areas. Like it says, decency and order in all things.
Right.
In all things, right? There's always going to be rulers. You're going to rule over your household. Going to rulers over the community. Rulers in heaven. Rulers of the earth. So on and so forth. But is there any more than that?
There is.
Go ahead.
And place such over them to be rulers of thousands.
Right, of thousands. Right, go ahead.
And rulers of hundreds.
And rulers of hundreds. Go ahead.
Rulers of 50.
Right, and that's what we see today. That's what we forming in the I.S.U.P.K. We forming officers of 1,000, officers of 5,000, officers of 10,000. I mean, captains of 10,000. Right, that's ideally what it is. Like we are the rulers over the people. Right, we're rulers over the nation of Israel, and what are we here to rule? Just to say, what we say is like, like we just like power tripping. For us to be power tripping and be able to abuse our rank and abuse our power, no, it's for us to take the responsibility of making sure that these people stay alive.
Right,
that these people have the tools necessary to fight their demons. That these people don't be homeless, that they don't starve, that don't all of those responsibilities of being over a nation. And it's the same thing as over the household. Like you have to provide them that same tutelage in your household, because that's the secular, that's the secular portion of what we are as a nation, a single individual family. Right. So it's in all things there has to be decency and order. You have to rule over your household, you have to rule over your communities, and you have to you're going to be over tens of thousands. You're going to be over thousands and 500s and over 4. Your little family. So again, like there's rulership among people as well. Go ahead. Any more on
that? Just the last precept.
Go ahead.
And rulers of tens. Verse 22.
Drop that. Let me get let's get into Deuteronomy 1 and 11. Some more proof of rulership among people, because we don't a lot of times, because of Christianity and the Christian church, we don't think that there should be inequality. We think that it should be equality. I think everybody should be equal, should be 50-50 in the household. The community should all be ran together. Whoever wants to step up, we all get together and step up together and do this, do that, and the third. And same thing in the church. Everybody teaching the Bible in church. You know what I mean? Everybody's a Muslim and everybody's a rabbi and a teacher and a master teacher. But there can't be like that. It cannot be like that. And that's why I said, reading out of the Bible, that rank and order brings decency. That's why you see so much chaos in the church.
Right.
You see so much chaos in our households, because if this person is 50-50 with me, who makes the final decision?
Right.
Now, whatever she want or whatever I want, if it's opposing, then we're going to fight. Like we fight like two people fighting over shotgun at the car.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to get in the front seat. No, I want to get in the front seat. No, we not going to pay the bills with this money. Oh, we going to pay the bills with this money. Oh, we not going to, take the kids and put them in this school. No, we're going to take the kids and put them in this school. And it's going to be fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. But when there's not 50-50 and there's one person over the other, then you can easily say, well, we need to put the kids in, charter school. Well, we need to put the kids in public school. And as a leader, you can consider those things like, okay, well, what would be the benefits of putting them in a charter school?
Right.
So again, because it's not about you have the power and it's just, whatever I say goes. Like you have to be considerate, right?
Right.
Like you have to be considerate. That's why even in the U.P.K, there's young men that come up that have excellent ideas, right? They have excellent input on things, or innovative things.
Right.
And it ain't gonna just be me to be like, oh, nah, we're gonna do it the old way. We're gonna do this that way. We not using the internet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go out here and pass out flyers hand in hand. But at the end of the day, you listen. I mean, okay, this internet thing don't sound too bad. Getting on these websites and getting on these social media platforms.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you get the final decision, and it's going to be done after that. You get the final decision. Okay, we're going with the internet. Oh no, listen, I don't think that's not a good idea for us to do that way. Because putting them over there in this school is going to mess up the education. What we're going to do is what I say. We're going to put them over here, and that's what's going to be best. And it's going to get done. It's done. You understand? It's done. That's how things get done. That's what rank and order is about. It's eliminating that confrontation, eliminating confusion, and being able to have things be able to pass through efficiently, right? Because if you have a man and a woman, or if you have a nation, an army, and there's no rank in the army, how's information going to get from this man to that man?
Right.
You understand? How is it going to get from this person to that person? Because we all equal. But when you have it a hierarchy, information can go down and information can go up, and it'll pass through everyone. It'll pass through everyone going up. It'll pass through everyone coming down, so on and so forth. So it's very, very, very important for us to be able to have rank and order. And you have to understand what it means to have rank and order. Like brotherhood is established through rank and order. You know what I mean? For us to follow Christ, for Christ to follow the prophets of the old, in the Old Testament, for them to follow the Most High, it's all order. It's all order, man. Go ahead and read what you got.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord Yahweh of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you as he has promised you.
Right. You read it from the top?
Come. The Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are.
Right. 1,000 times so many more as you are. So again, when we think about, having ranks among people, like this is it. Like when he says, when I think it's in Ezekiel, when it says, I think it's the same scripture, he says, prophesying to the wind,
right,
and then raised the dry bones and stood an exceedingly great army, right? Like that's what's happening. You understand? When you have ranks among the people, you have those ranks, you're able to grow. You're able to grow, expand.
Right.
You're saving lives, and you're saving lives from causing them to be dead, and you're saving the dead, making them alive.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they coming into an order. They're coming into a hierarchy. They're coming into decency. They're coming into order. They're getting out of that chaos or being saved from the chaos.
Right.
Right. Go ahead. Is there any more on that? Go ahead and read.
Verse 12. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife?
Right.
Verse 13.
See what I'm saying? Like, how can I alone do it? You know what I mean? So again, that causes for you to have that help, man. You understand? Like Commander Jenny was out here by himself. Then he raised up General Muhammad.
Right.
Then he raised up General Mayat. Then he raised up General. Then they raised up General Haas. Then now you have a more. Okay, here, take this. Y'all share this. All right. You understand? They are expanding. So 1 becomes 5, and 5 becomes 20. 20 becomes 50, and then now you start to see where it's the rulers that are over tens, and the rulers are over 5,000, the rulers over 1,000, the rulers. So that's what it is. Like there's rulers over people. There's ranks among the people. And it's necessary, man. It's necessary to establish, in order to, for our society to run well. Go ahead.
And I think, Salak, if I could, people understand this because a lot of people out here that are employed report to a manager. They don't report to the CEO of whoever owns that company.
Right.
That CEO doesn't specifically run all the businesses because that would be impossible, right? There's too many. So they would have, district management, leads, people that are ahead of other people that take orders from other people that ultimately lead up to that person.
Right.
But on a day-to-day thing, there's rank and order even in that. And our people understand that. But when it comes to our culture, that's how our culture is too.
That's right. Like you see these successful business and how they become so successful. It takes rulership. It takes ranks. It takes a hierarchy, right? Now for us, we don't, like I said, like we just read, like our success or our salvation, more specifically, doesn't just rely on hierarchy, but it needs to be the right leader. Right. It has to be the right leadership. Like it says, able men who fear the Lord.
Right.
You understand? Like you have to be able to fear the Lord. Like you have to be under people who fear the Lord. Like we can gather ourselves under the Black Panthers and gather ourselves under the Bloods and Crips, gather ourselves under America, which they have, presidents and chief, war president, whoever the vice president, the chief, whatever they call these people in the army and the lieutenants and everything on down.
Right.
But you still are dying. You still are suffering in these organizations and in these institutions because the leadership is not right. The leadership is not under a leadership that fears the Lord, right? So you have to be under able men who fear the Lord. Okay, so, but that's like I said, that's like the prerequisite. But after that, there has to be order. There has to be rank. There has to be that to be decency, because the Lord said, "I'm not the author of confusion." Like that's where confusion comes from. Like not having, order, not having someone in charge, not not having the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Like I was just in one of these clubhouse things. We getting into that clubhouse now, and now these sisters in there, they talking about polygyny and how if a man can have multiple wives, is that going to save the Black family, so on and so forth? And of course, a sister like well, I don't know how men can have multiple wives, but women can't have multiple husbands. Then when you pose the point to them that if a man has multiple wives and the wife gets pregnant, that's his baby and that's her baby.
Right.
But if a woman has multiple husbands, that's for sure her baby, but who's the daddy?
Right.
You understand? We got to ask yourself that question.
Right.
There's a disconnect there and surety. There's like all of this thing that we read in this Bible is sound doctrine, where you don't have to ask questions. This is just what it is. It's right there in your face. You understand? It's just what it is. It's obvious. So again, like these things that what we reading in this Bible, the law, statutes, and commandments, along with rank and order, eliminates the chaos, eliminates the confusion, eliminates the disputes that brothers and sisters have with one another. You know what I mean? Drop any more on that?
Just one more precept.
Go ahead.
Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you.
Right. And I will make them rulers over you. So don't say that, there's no such thing. Okay, I'm teaching class right now. Don't talk to me no more, all right? All right, so listen, so when they say that all man should be equal and there should be equality, that's garbage. That's confusion. You understand? So especially if you're a Christian and you think that you're going to be, a woman going to be 50-50 with her man, or that we're going to all come together with all nations and be equal to the white society and be equal to the Chinese, we all just be equal, you're misled. You're misled. Whatever the train of thought that causes you to believe that is not under the order of the Lord, right? You're under the order of Satan. You understand? Which is completely confusion. That's why we destroyed in America. That's why we destroyed in the UK. That's why we destroyed everywhere, because we're under the wrong leadership. We choose to gather ourselves into the wrong things, the wrong people. We have to gather ourselves under Christ, right?
Okay.
And when we think of, like I said, when we think about the simplicity of it, the Lord chooses a man, right? The Lord chooses a man to be, matter of fact, I think it's 2 Samuel 9:9. The Lord chooses a man in order for the nation of Israel to even have anything from the Most High. If you want to learn, if you want to hear the voice of the Lord, you have to hear it from the priests and the prophets of the Lord. If you want to get counsel from the Lord, you have to get counsel from the men in the U.P.K, from the priests and prophets of the Lord. Like that's how you have that connection. So again, like when you have that man, when the Lord establishes that the man is the head over his host, like he said, the flock of my pasture are men. You understand? Then that same order that leads that nation is the same order that leads the household. So all of these officers, captains, and generals are all fathers as well, and their women are under their order, and their children are under their order. And that's how we are going to build up the nation. And it's going to start with us as individuals, raising our households, raising this nation. You know what I mean? Like how it always started. Like Adam and Eve was a family.
Right.
You know what I mean? Adam and Eve was a family. Like the Lord gave Adam and Eve the law, statutes, and commandments, and they were supposed to teach their children those things. Wasn't no army, was it? Wasn't no army, wasn't no military. It was just Adam and Eve. And they were given the law, statutes, and commandments, and they were supposed to pass it down to their children, follow them, show them how to follow it. Is it 2 Samuel or is it 1 Samuel?
I believe it's 1 Samuel. You talking about the seer?
Yep, that's correct. You understand? They was supposed to teach their children and show them how to do it, and their children teach their children and children. And then you have generations of successful, success. You have successful generations, successful quality generations, quality families, so on and so forth. But when we see the case when Adam and Eve, fell off, what can happen? What can happen between your children? And we see cases like Joseph and Mary. You know what I mean?
Oh,
well, they was a family. And Joseph was a just man, and Mary had favor in the Lord. And guess what? They raised up a mighty man,
right?
Named I.S.U.P.K. So again, that family is where it starts. You know what I mean? Like that's where it starts. But understanding the rank and order as the way the Lord set it up is what's going to be the start of being able to progress and have salvation. All right, read what you got, Doc.
Come on. This is 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 9. Mm-hmm. Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of Yahweh, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer.
Right, let us go to the what?
The seer.
To the what?
The seer.
Go ahead.
For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer.
Read it again from the top.
Come on. Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God.
So now, when a man went to inquire of God, he had to go to a prophet. You understand? And the prophets are men. But again, the Lord sets up not just men, but able men. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Able men. You can't just say, oh, this, like they put like the T.D. Jakes in them, they put bishop in front of their name.
Right.
They put reverend in front of their name, pastor in front of their name. And now we look at them as these are the men of God. That's Bishop T.D. Jakes. That's a man of God. And to be honest, because he's a man and because he's holy, he has his name Bishop in the beginning of his name, he must be, everything he must say is of the Lord. But that's not true. You understand? Because even then there's rank amongst men, right? Because you have to be an able man to be what? To be ruler over the people. You have to fear the Lord, literally fear the Lord to be rulers over the people, right? Just like in the time of Mattathias, I bring this story out all the time. There were wicked men that went out of Israel that convinced the people saying, let's make a covenant with the heathen, right? So they contested everything that our forefathers taught us to be able to follow the commandments of the king of Greece. But then like men like Mattathias that refused to follow the throw away their father's ordinances and laws to be able to follow the king's commandments. And that's the difference. You understand? That's the difference. So we have men the Lord places men that are able, that fear him, that are going to really pass down something that's going to be life for black men, women, and children.
Right.
You understand? And those men are the ones who raise up 10,000s and 5,000s and so on and so forth when it comes to the women, when it comes to the children. And then when you under leadership like T.D. Jakes and Farrakhan, you see that same amount of people who are dying. Wow. You understand? 10,000 deaths, 5,000 deaths, 250,000 abortions, 1 million in jail, 1 million black men in jail. That's what you see.
Right.
Okay. So go ahead and drop that.
Okay.
Let me get let's get Exodus chapter 4. All right. Because I mentioned Moses earlier and Aaron, you know what I mean? But a lot of people don't understand that even though Aaron was put in place to speak for Moses because he had a speech impediment, it was still a hierarchy that was placed because the Most High only wanted to speak to Moses, right?
Okay.
He only wanted to speak to Moses. I only want to speak to you. I'm going to tell you, and then you go tell the people. But in this case, he couldn't tell the people. He had to tell Aaron. Aaron told whoever. And then so at the end of the day, the Lord established rank even in Egypt under Moses. Go ahead. Exodus 4, and let's get, I think, 14.
Let me check that.
Yeah, 14.
This is Exodus chapter 4, verse 14.
Good.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, is not Aaron the Levite thy brother?
Mm-hmm.
I know that he can speak well.
Mm-hmm.
And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee.
Mm-hmm.
And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt speak unto him,
mm-hmm.
and put words in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be with thy mouth,
mm-hmm.
and with his mouth,
mm-hmm.
and will teach you what ye shall do.
Go ahead.
And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people.
Right. So again, no different than we see in the U.P.K. Right? U.P.K., the Most High established the school in 1969 under the 7 heads. The 7 heads taught the men under them. The men under them taught to them, and we get down to Commander Jenny Hanna, and Commander Jenny Hanna teaching the men under him. And then, being the leader of this nation now is the leader of the nation who teaches the generals under him. And then the generals teach the captains under them, right? The captains teach the officers of 5,000 and down and down and down and down and down. So again, if Commander Jenny Hanna wants to tell me something, he can pass it down to what? General Muhammad.
Right.
General Muhammad pass it down to what? To my camp leader. You know what I mean? To Captain Kahan. And Captain Kahan will pass it down to Captain Yatizak, and then I'll get the message. No different than going the opposite direction. So again, this is how things get communicated effectively. And to be an extension of that power does make a man glad, does make a woman glad. Like
right.
Women that are a part of these households, that you have men who are, that are fear the Lord, that you should be happy to take those orders because you know that you're serving the Lord by serving your man. You should know that when your man speaks to you, the Lord is speaking to you. You understand? So read that part again one more time.
This is verse 14. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, is not Aaron the Levite thy brother?
Mm-hmm.
I know that he can speak well.
Right, because if at the end of the day, like you gotta be able to know how to use the people that are under you.
Right.
Right. You got disadvantages. You got to be able to pull this brother in to get this thing done. He's better to do this than you are. You pull him in for this job. You know what I mean? And that's why we have officers in the U.P.K. We have talents. We have different things that we do. And certain brothers are the ones that handle those things. And then what they'll do? They'll get a second, right? They'll be the head of that office and they'll get a second. And that's how it works. Like you get people under you. You know what I mean? Like you have and it can work with, anything. Like that's just how it is. Like you just said earlier, like the sister said, that's the way of a business, right? That's the way of a business. Like when you think about, management, they got the CEO, the CFO, right? And they got these certain people that are, under them.
Right.
But then there's multiple managers, right? There's multiple managers, and they have what? Assistant managers.
Right.
So, you have seconds, you have thirds, people that can take up what you leave out, or, that you can pass down to distribute burdens and distribute responsibilities. But again, this is all to be able to create decency. That's all it is. It has nothing about, power and, ego and things like that.
Right.
That's when it gets diluted. That's when it gets confusing. You know what I mean? So you have to be humble with the power. You have to be responsible, knowing that, getting ranked and being in charge of something is a big responsibility. So, but Aaron, continue to read.
Come on. Mm-hmm. We on verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he can speak well, and also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he has seen thee, he will be glad in his heart.
You understand? He'll be glad in his heart. Let's drop that real quick. Let me get Mark chapter 6, verse 30. You understand? Okay. So, like, again, like, we talking about, like I said, we go all the way back to Adam and Eve. You know what I mean? Adam was the head. The Lord spoke to Adam. You understand? The Lord spoke to Adam. He told Eve, we ain't talking about no military, no army, no nothing. We talking about a single nuclear family. There's the order was the way it started. And, going all the way down to Moses. And now we have a group of people who are under Moses, and Moses under Aaron. Aaron under Moses. The Most High speaking directly to Moses. You know what I mean? And Moses speaking directly to Aaron. And then Aaron speaking to whoever's next under his charge.
Right.
And all the way down, it trickles down. And this is how things was able to get done. The information was able to get passed effectively. Go ahead and read.
This is Mark chapter 6, verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
And the apostles gathered themselves together unto Yahushua and told him all things.
You understand? So the apostles gathered themselves unto Yahushua, right? So we talking about, all of his disciples, right? Coming together with him, telling them of all of these things. Go ahead and read.
And told him all things, both what they had done and what they had taught.
Right, go ahead.
And verse 31, and he said unto them, come ye yourselves apart into a desert place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going.
Right.
And they had no leisure so much as to eat.
Right.
Verse 32.
Right.
And they departed into a desert place by ship privately.
Right.
And the people saw them departing. And many knew him and ran afoot thither out of all cities. And outwent them and came together unto him.
Hold on. Let me see. I might have the wrong scripture. Let me see real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that precept. Still, it's a good one. Because it's like the apostles was giving him a report, right?
Okay, here we go. So yeah, this is it. Just keep on reading if I could, Baba Kashan.
Come. We're at verse 34.
Right.
And Yahushua, when he came out, saw much people and was moved with compassion toward them.
Right.
Because they were as sheep not having a shepherd.
Right.
And he began to teach them many things.
Right.
And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him and said, this is a desert place, and now the time is far past.
Right.
Send them away that they may go into the country round about and into the villages and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat.
That's correct. Go ahead.
Verse 37. He answered and said unto them, give ye them to eat.
Right.
And they say unto him, shall we go and buy 200 penny worth of bread and give them to eat? He said unto them, how many loaves have ye? Go and see. And when they knew, they say 5 and 2 fishes.
Right. So, so again, like what we breaking down right now is the Lord showing them teaching his disciples a lesson, right?
Right.
So at a time where we out teaching people, right? We teaching them and, giving them the word, because like he said, they like a sheep without a shepherd. They lost. So we get them, we see them, we're teaching them, but then now they come to the point where they're hungry, and the apostles like, we don't have enough food here.
Right.
So what do you expect us to do? We're gonna go buy so much amount of bread and stuff like that, because we want to just send them to their home so they can eat at their crib, whatever they, you know what I mean?
Right.
Go send them over there to eat. Other than that, what are we gonna do? Spend $2,000 or whatever the case may be on bread? So Christ was like, nah, go and how much bread do you have? And then they came back and said they have what?
5 loaves and 2 fishes.
Right, 5 loaves and 2 fishes. So compared to what they was talking about going and buy 200 penny worth of bread and give them to eat, to compare to 5, they have 5 and 2 fishes. You could tell that they don't think that they have enough to feed all of these people. Right. So go ahead and read.
Verse 39. Mm-hmm. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies.
By what?
By companies.
By what?
By companies.
By companies. What does that mean? By companies, meaning in groups.
Right.
Right? In groups. Sit them down in groups.
Upon the green grass.
Mm-hmm.
And they sat down in ranks.
And what?
In ranks.
And what?
Ranks.
So again, like we see this rank and order even amongst eating. Like in the school, we have what? The generals eat first, then the captains. Hey, now we serving all captains at 13,000. We serving all captains at 10,000.
Right.
Now we bringing up to 5,000. Y'all can come eat. Thousands, them so on down and so forth, because that's biblical. Because what would have happened if not? It'd be a bomb. It would be a bombarding at the table. You know what I mean? People knocking things over, trying to get food. You know what I mean? And make it, just people cutting in front of the other people and everything like that. But we just put them together in companies, right? The 13,000s,
right?
The 10,000s, the young men, the troopers, you know what I mean? The sisters, the kids. It can make it a lot more efficiently and more orderly, right? And not only that, when we see where Christ is like feeding them with just 5 loaves and 2 fish, this is a good understanding that I might not have a lot,
right?
But if I bring mine together with what you have, then we have double what we had in the beginning,
right?
You know what I mean? So essentially, that brotherhood is a weapon. That's what the lesson is. Like, brotherhood is a weapon. You bring the little you have, bring it all here. We'll make it happen, and then everybody's going to eat. Go ahead.
Just as an example, just from the Passover experience we had over there, when we had over 2,000 people.
There's a lot of people.
People, right? And we seen the line going all the way through the back of the whole entire place where we was at, the whole ranch, right? Mm-hmm. And I was waiting in line to get something to eat. And it was, I believe it was Captain Mashak Mayam who ordered me to help feed, which I took upon that role gladly, because there's nothing more. I felt it such an honor for him to give me an order like that to feed my people.
Right.
And even though I was waiting in line, I made sure that everybody was fed before I ate anything.
Right.
And because we had brothers that came in to help, it made everything go smoother. We had so much food, they couldn't cook the food fast enough for the way the line was coming in. But after everything was said and done, everybody had more than enough to eat. We had people coming back for seconds and thirds. Right. We had enough for everybody to make sure everybody got a hot meal, and it was a beautiful thing.
That's right. And the Most High in Christ, bro, I can tell you why you was shy, man, because that's what that rank and order does. Because like you just explained. Not only were we able to have adequate amount of servers by just saying, "Hey, could you go over here and do this?" Right? Not saying who's gonna go and help serve,
right?
But hey, you go and serve. You go help and serve, and because of your brotherhood and your delight for your love of the truth and your love of the brotherhood in Christ, it was an honor. You know what I mean? Like, it was an honor, just like for Aaron, it was an honor to be the voice for Moses, and it was a voice to do those things, to serve. Like Christ, it was an honor to be able to serve God, the Most High, or so on and so forth. So not only did that happen, but the ranks and orders created no chaos. Like you said, there was a line.
Right.
You know what I mean? We was able to minimize that line by calling up companies.
Right.
You know what I mean? Companies, everybody sit down, do what they do. This the first company, the generals. They get through. This the second company that's coming through, the captains, so on and so forth. But so the decency and order, man, that comes with rank, that eliminates the confusion, that eliminates the fighting and all of these things is very essential, man. Very essential. And these things are as old as Adam.
Right.
You understand? These things are as old as Adam. All right. So go ahead and read what you got.
Come. This is verse 41. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes.
So no, go back and read 39 again.
Come. Verse 39. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s.
All right, drop that. Let me get numbers 2 and 3.
Come.
All right. So again, like we sat down and he gathered us around in companies and said that we're gonna set them together in ranks and 50s and hundreds and so on and so forth, right? And thousands, So and all throughout the brotherhood and being, like I said, you can't just have that responsibility and just think that we just gonna teach. Now we gotta have to put our own up. We're gonna have to put our food up. We're gonna have to put our clothes up. You're gonna have to put your time away, your time to the side.
Right.
That you would want to chill with your girl or want to chill with your, watch Super Bowl or watch, Sports Center to go and feed the flock.
Right.
To do the work of the Lord. So again, this comes with responsibilities, man.
That's right.
It's not all about, oh my God, like he just so great because of his rank. No, it's, or I want to be this rank so I can be great. Like there's responsibility that comes with being a leader. And again, in a household, like when we think about a household, we think about a community, we think about a nation, even for those who are not the highest in rank, there's still honor in serving the men that are above you.
That's right.
Like the brother just brought out. There's an honor. There should be an honor to serve these men that are above you. You understand? No different than it should be. You should understand what the men above you are doing and their responsibility, but the honor it would be to help them. You understand? Do what needs to be done for the greater cause. So, like I said, if you apply those things to your, to your military, like the I.S.U.P.K, that's what our military, our host is based off of, and we, like, what do? We take it to our families, and then ultimately, not only affects our family, we taking really, accepting the responsibilities of being a husband and what comes with that, but having women that are honored to serve us. That's right. You understand? Honored to serve us. And then that starts to, you start to see the change in the whole entire community. And I mean, when more men are in these households, leading these households, under the fear of the Lord. All right. So what you got from me?
This is Numbers chapter 2, verse 3. So check. All right. And on the east side toward the rising of the sun, shall they of the standard of the camp of Judah pitch throughout their armies. And Nashon, the son of Amminadab, shall be captain of the children of Judah.
Right. So shall be what?
Shall be captain of the children of Judah.
So like this is a lot of things that we also see in the Bible too, but just like the giving a rank. You know what I mean? Like, giving rank. Like, like all that is based on qualifications, right?
Right.
It's all based on the qualifications. Does this man fear the Lord? What are they good for? Are they going to be beneficial in this position? Sometimes people get put into positions they're not ready for, but it makes them ready.
Right.
You know what I mean? No different than some of us coming to the truth, and we did our 90 days. We infants in the truth, but here we are, trooper now. I got my Hebrew name, and my Hebrew name means follower of the law. But I'm still trying to fight this weed addiction. Right. But now I have something to live up to. Like now I'm gonna be soldier of the law. Like I gotta fight this cigarette addiction. I gotta fight this and do this. So like again, we see giving a rank in the Bible. We see rank in the Bible. We see rulership in the Bible over people. We see order and decency and marriages. We see order and decency in how we feed, how we eat. Right.
Right.
All of these things are key components and a bigger picture of us having salvation and being a quality family and being a quality nation.
That's
right. All right, read that again.
This is Numbers chapter 2, verse 3. Mm-hmm. And on the east side toward the rising of the sun shall they of the standard of the camp of Judah pitch throughout their armies. And Nashon, the son of Amminadab, shall be captain of the children of Judah.
That was it on that?
Concept.
All right, drop that. Let me get Joshua 1 and 10. So again, like all throughout history in our biblical past, right? It's always been a governing body. It always has been a military. It always has been, and that's why the first scripture I pulled was Exodus 15 and 3 to explain why that is so. Is because the Most High God, the Most High power, is a man of war, and a man of war is going to have an army. You understand? And that army has to fear the Lord.
That's right.
And that army has to have rank and order. And, you know, that's how rank is given. That's where rank comes from. That's how it's given, so on and so forth. Like the Most High said, he giveth the increase. All right, go ahead and read what you got.
This is Joshua chapter 1, verse 10. Mm-hmm. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people.
Right.
Saying.
Joshua did what?
Commanded the officers of the people.
All right. So again, like he's giving the order. He's giving the order. Like Joshua, you know what I mean, was, you read up on Joshua, all of these stories, you know what I mean, that I would love to get into and break down and give, backstories on what all is going on. But, for a brother like Joshua, who was fearless, you understand? Who, who was approached by an angel, you know what I mean? He was approached by an angel of God, which in most cases in the Bible, we see people die at the sight of an angel. Right. We see people tremble at the sight of an angel, but he sights an angel and he pulls out his sword. You understand? He pulls out his sword and asks, "Are you a friend or a foe?" Because that's where you have to be when you're a soldier.
That's tight.
You have to be fearless. You have to be courageous. You have to fear the Lord. Fear the Lord, nothing else but the Lord. And that's the type of people that they said, go get able men.
Right.
You understand? Yeah. And let them be the rulers of the people.
Yeah.
Because the commandments that he's going to give to these people and the rulership that he's going to provide is surely going to protect them from evil.
Yeah, right.
Surely going to protect them from wickedness, from destruction. Right? So again, Joshua is amazing soldier. And what does it say?
This is verse 10. Mm-hmm. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people.
Right. So he commanded the officers of the people. Go ahead.
Saying, pass through the host.
Pass through the what?
Pass through the host.
Pass through the what?
Pass through the host.
Let me see if that definition is in here right quick. I can look it up as well. Look it up real quick. Look it up over there.
Biblical definition of host.
You know what I mean? Because
that's it.
Okay, go ahead and read what you got.
This is host refers to the army.
To the what?
The army.
The what?
The army.
It refers to an army. So what did Joshua say?
He said, pass through the army.
Pass through the army, the host. Pass through the host, pass through the army. Go ahead.
And command the people.
And do what?
Command the people.
Hold on. Read that from the top.
Joshua chapter 1, verse 10. Mm-hmm. Then Joshua commanded the officers.
Joshua commanded the what?
The officers of the people.
Joshua commanded the officers of the people, right? And then what did he command the officers of the people?
Saying, pass through the host and command the people.
Pass through the host and command the people. Go ahead.
Saying, prepare you victual, for within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan to go in to possess the land, which the Lord your power giveth you to possess it.
Now imagine that those people weren't under those officers. And imagine those officers weren't under Joshua. Imagine Joshua wasn't under Christ. Wasn't under the Most High, right? Where would they be? They would not be crossing over Jordan. They would be somewhere else doing something who God knows what.
Right.
You understand? Because Joshua is not under the order of the Lord. He's not receiving wise, direction. The Lord is not, guiding his steps, right?
Right.
Sending God in his path, so he can be off anywhere. And if the office is not under him and he's under Christ or he's under the Most High, they're not getting what the Most High is telling him. They're not getting that. They're not getting that message from the Most High, because Joshua is the able man that the Most High put in charge to give them order.
That's right.
Right? So they're not getting the order. So, and imagine if the officers are under Joshua, under Joshua, and Joshua under the Most High, and the people are not under the officers.
Right.
Then the people, again, are what you see today in America.
Mm-hmm.
What you see in the UK. We got Commander General, who is the head over the nation of Israel.
Right.
You have all the generals, captains, officers that get all of the information that comes down. You know what I mean? Y'all start stocking up on noodles and, beef jerky. Yeah. Y'all start migrating to this place. Y'all start looking for evacuation plans for this. Y'all start doing this, and that orders and stuff get passed down.
Right.
Right? They give the order that, hey, listen, this is happening. Stock up on waters and non-perishable items. What do the first thing we do? We pass it down to the camp leaders.
Right.
Camp leaders pass it down to their zones. Mm-hmm. And when the zones get it, what do?
They follow those orders.
No, what do? Who do they pass it to?
They pass it to everyone that's under them.
Which is who?
It would be going by rank. You're talking about the people in the school.
Well, no, it'll be their families.
Oh,
right. So, okay. So, like General Mahim, Commander General gives the order. He gives it to General Mahim. General Mahim contacts the captains over the regions. Right. The regions contact the camp leaders over the cities.
Right.
The cities, the camp leaders over cities contacts us, the camp. And then I get it. And then what do? I mean, I'm the camp leader. I pass it to you. What do? Right. You pass it to your dad and them.
Right.
You pass it to your brother and them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go and start talking up, but you tell your dad that this is what we need to do. We tell our wives, like, this is what you need. This is what we're going to have to do. We got to do this, that, and the third. We're under the order of the Lord. All of us are. You understand? And if they don't get that order, then they're out. They're lost and they're without. They're unprotected.
That's heavy.
You know what I mean? So read that from the top again.
Come. It says right here, verse 11, pass through the host and command the people, saying, prepare you victuals, for within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan, to go in to possess the land, which the Lord your God giveth you to possess it.
Right. They wouldn't be going over there to possess that land if they wasn't getting that under that order.
Right.
They wouldn't even heard about it. You over there somewhere getting high somewhere. Whole time the Most High done made an order already and then pass it down to his people. They moving. They mobilizing. They gathering together in companies. They like he said, they passing through the host, through the army, spreading the word for the officers to go out and tell the people, for the people to end up, having their children, everybody that's under that order, know that this is what we're about to make a move.
Right.
But you over here getting high somewhere. You over here talking about I don't need no man.
Right.
You know what I mean? You over here, trying to figure out how we're going to change the system from the inside.
Right.
How we going to make hell more tolerable. But we about to walk into salvation.
Right.
We walking right up into salvation right now. We done got the order and we moving. You don't know those things. You know what I mean? So any more on that?
Nah, that's it.
All right, go ahead and give me Joshua again, 5 and 13. You know what I mean? You don't know these things. You ain't get that message. So it's important of who your leaders are. All right. It's important of who your leaders are. Like, yeah, there is rank and order and it is leadership, but it's important to know who your leaders are, because you can have leaders like Mattathias, or you can have leaders like those wicked men that came out of Israel that are convincing you to make covenants with the heathen and to take their culture, right? And to take their culture and throw away with your culture, because to them, let them tell it, it's better off being a slave than being a free man. Go ahead and read.
Khan, this is Joshua chapter 5, verse 13.
Yeah.
And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand.
This is it right here.
And Joshua went unto him and said unto him.
He did what?
Joshua went unto him.
He did what?
Went unto him.
Joshua had seen that man with a sword, and he went unto him. You understand?
Right.
What you think that these men out here that's, with their 3-piece suits on, what do you think they're gonna do when they see a man pull out a gun? You know what I mean? In the church.
Right.
They see a man pull out a gun in the wherever they at.
Right.
What you think they're gonna do with them 3-piece suits on, them alligator shoes?
They're running.
They're gonna run and hide. But not Joshua. Joshua went unto him. Go ahead.
And said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversary?
Right. Are you a friend or are you a foe? You know what I mean? What you think he's asking this question for? whether or not he need to kill this man,
right,
or he good. Because in his mind, in Joshua's mind, I'm the gate for my people. I'm the front line for my people. And if I allow homosexuality past me,
right,
if I allow drugs past me, then my whole entire nation is going to fall.
right.
My whole entire nation is going to be destroyed. My families are going to be infected and destroyed. So he's defending. You understand?
Right. Yeah,
he's on the front line defending with the courage and the might of the Lord, right? The fear of the Lord. And he's saying, he's seen a man with a sword, and he went to him and asked him, are you for the people or for our adversary? Go ahead.
And he said, nay, but as captain of the host of the
captain
Lord.
What? But what of the what?
A captain
a what?
Of the host
Ooh-wee.
Of the Lord.
A captain of the host of the Lord. The captain in the army of the Lord is what he said.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Nay, as a captain of the army, of the host of the army of the Lord, go ahead.
Am I now come?
Am I now come? Go ahead.
And Joshua fell on his face to the earth.
Right. So he told him, I'm a captain in the army of the Lord. Right. Really, this is the angel of the Lord here.
Right.
You understand? This is the angel of the Lord that came upon Joshua. And he was about to go, you know what I mean? Give him the word. Like whatever we about to go at it right now. Like you say the wrong thing, and it's off with your head. Like we're gonna fight to the death. Mm-hmm. That's real. You understand? That's the type of men that need to be over the nation. That's the type of men that need to be over the community. That need to be over the households. Go ahead.
I was just saying, because you're talking about the host of the Lord and this man coming in and showing his strength, and Joshua going not afraid to confront him, to understand who he was. Mm-hmm. Right now, Esau's getting ready to do a report on these UFOs. You heard about this in the news. It's supposed to happen this month. And what's supposed to happen this month? The government is going to release information on what they understand so far from the UFOs that have been around us for a long time. Okay. And you can imagine that when they confront them, that they are afraid with all the technology that they have now, with all of the weapons of warfare that they have now. There's nothing that they can do against it except at least talk about it, right? Right. Imagine following a man and following orders from somebody who isn't even afraid of that. Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. That's hardcore.
You see what I'm saying? Like Esau is scared. You know what I mean? You know, and that's what they're producing in these churches. These churches are the doctrines of devils. Like this is the house of Satan.
Right.
So you see a lot of weak men that are coming out of the church, weak men that are coming out of Islam, you know, emotional, you know, they making them less responsible, less accountable, weak, and so on and so forth. So again, like that's the same spirit that's being put in the men when we should be reading this. Right. This truth should be getting taught. So we could be raising up more men like Joshua. You understand? More men like Joshua, more men like Mattathias, more men like Joab, Gideon, you know what I mean? Right. Like, you know, real men that were really going to fight and serve the Lord and defend their house. Defend their house, man. All right. Joshua, again, like he said, he gave the order to the officers of the people and he gave the order to the officers of the people to go to the people, right? So we talking to them to tell them to go talk to them. So that's exactly what it's all about. Communication, effectiveness, you know, decency, you know, canceling out chaos, canceling out dispute, canceling out all of those things. And also, like I said, just knowing that you're under the order of the Lord, you're knowing that everything that's coming down and that these orders that are being given are righteous.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead and read that from the top again.
This is Joshua chapter 5, verse 13. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversaries? And he said, nay, but as a captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant?
Right. What does that mean? I'm awaiting your orders. Like
right.
He respected him. He honored him. He submitted as a servant and said, what orders do you have for me? What orders do you What orders do you have of me? You know what I mean? You're a captain. I'm a part of the Lord's army. What give me? I'm waiting for instruction.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, like these are the things that you're supposed to understand being someone who's under someone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be under someone and feel like, oh man, why I couldn't have been the captain?
Right.
Why I couldn't have been the head of the house? You know, why I couldn't have been this? Why I couldn't have been that? You know what I mean? Why couldn't this be this way for me? But instead realizing that you're a piece of a greater thing. You know what I mean? You're a part of a greater thing. Mm-hmm. Like the most important of your role is important as just as his role. This is important as the men above him and the men above him, or whatever the case may be, that y'all are a piece of a machine, a part of a machine. You know what I mean? That these parts are moving in their own way to make this greater vessel move. You know what I mean? And again, that when you think about it like that, it's like, you know what? I'll be honored to serve this food over here. I'll be honored to, do this and do that and do that. And, whatever my man wants me to do, whatever my officer wants me to do, whatever my captain wants me to do, whatever the Lord asks of me, like you ready to serve. You're willing and ready to serve and be honored to, because you know that these men and these men that are above you are under the order of the Lord. That these are the men that the Lord chose and rose up to destroy your enemies and give you salvation. You understand? To give you peace, to give you all of those things, right? And that's what we got to look at. So if you like suffering, if you like, affliction and, going through hell, then you don't have to follow orders. Don't follow orders. That's where it's going to get you. If you keep on believing lies. Keep on believing the lies, what your pastors tell you, and what these Muslim imams tell you, or what these Jewish so-called rabbis, these Jewish rabbis tell you, and they, and Steve Harvey and whoever else that act like they got the answers. You keep listening to them, and that's what you're gonna get, because that chaos that's what's gonna bring affliction and suffering. You understand? So drop that, Salakia. Let me get Ephesians chapter 6 verse 5. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 5. Like we bringing out rank and order and showing you that it exists, that it's vital. It exists, it's vital. Our forefathers did it and adhered to it. The Lord established it, and it's a vital part of our salvation. You know what I mean? Rank and order is a vital part of our salvation. Okay. So what we're gonna read right now, we're gonna get into what? We're gonna get into, how we look at each other as men today.
Right.
Because when I'm not an angel, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not God, I'm not the most high. I'm Dawadah. You know what I mean? Who am I? Who is Captain Yatizak? Who is Captain Marvel Quad? Like, he's a man just like me. He's flesh just like I'm flesh. Right?
Right.
He die like I die. He bleed like I bleed. Let's see what the Bible says.
This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5.
Good.
Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh.
According to the what?
According to the flesh.
According to the what?
According to the flesh.
Right. You have to. You can't dismiss someone because they're not God, the Most High. Because like we read in Samuel, that in order for you to go of the Lord and receive something of the Lord, you have to go to the prophets.
Right.
You can't go past the prophets to talk to God.
Right.
You understand? Like you have to talk to the prophets. You have to deal with the men that are above you, and they not angels. They're not benevolent beings. These creatures. These are human beings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Christ wasn't he wasn't no, spooky spirit or something like that. You know what I mean? Like he was a man. He was a man. Okay. So you have to obey your masters that are according to the flesh. Like you have to obey your earthly masters, the men and that the Lord had put over the nation.
Right.
That's who you have to obey. You understand? Because like I said, depending on who you're listening to and who you're under, could decide whether you're hearing and following the voice of Satan or the voice of the Lord. Because what we speak in the UPK, is the voice of the Lord. When we tell you something to do, it's the voice of the Lord. Because we are the priests and prophets of the Lord, right? So what is Captain Mawakwa? What is Captain Yadizak? What is Officer Dawada? We're your masters according to the flesh.
Right.
Go ahead and read that from the top.
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart.
You understand? Fear and trembling. You understand? Because again, like, you think about the Most High and his power, and then that's where you should be fearing. You should be fearing his power. Like, he flooded the earth. Like, he gave these people, made these people look like this, or killed these people, you know what I mean? Killed these people, or gave them AIDS, gave them cancer, like so on and so forth. Like, I fear him and his power. For that reason, I'm going to follow his law, statutes, and commandments. But also for that reason, I'm going to follow what Dawada says. I'm going to follow what my husband says. I'm going to listen to what my camp leader says. I'm going to follow that counsel or what the general said. You understand? Because we fear them like we fear the Lord.
Right.
We fear them like we fear the Lord. And that's why it says, with a trembling, you fear your masters according to the flesh. Go ahead.
Come. In singleness of your heart, as unto Christ.
As unto what?
As unto Christ.
See what I'm saying? As unto Christ. Like, and again, Christ wasn't no benevolent being either. He was a master according to the flesh too. He wasn't no spooky, spirit. Like, he was a man. And guess what? We all hear all the time, you don't want to be Christ-like, you want to be Christ-like. Well, Christ ain't here. I'm here. General Commander Jenny Hanna's here. The generals, the captains, the officers, who are your husbands. You understand? Who are your fathers. Those are the men that you have to obey like Christ. Those are the men who are here in representation of Christ, and who Christ was in representative of his Father in heaven. Like, that's the order. Okay? There's order. There's order. That you cannot bypass man to get to the Most High. You understand? Like, even Deborah had a vision, right? They call her the prophetess, right?
Right.
They call her the prophetess because she had a vision. That's cool. That's cool, and we understand. We can see where you might be confused and thinking that a woman can go to the Most High, or receive something from the Most High, and she be some kind of ruler or something like that. You know what I mean? But what Deborah did was she got that vision and she took it to Barak, right? She took it to Barak, right? What they don't mention that part because, of course, Christianity wants to eliminate the man. They want to eliminate the man. So they'll talk about, immaculate conception. Mary got pregnant from a spirit, not a man. You know what I mean? They'll take away, Deborah and Barak being the one that she came to, told the vision to,
right?
Allow him to decide whether this was of the Lord or not. Because she's a prophetess and she don't need no man. She got this and she was right and all this and the third. You know what I mean? Like, all of these things happen with the approval of a man when it comes to women. You understand? With the approval of a man. You know what I mean? And again, like, being a priest and prophet of the Lord, you have to be blameless. You have to be blameless. You cannot be, representing the Lord and being a hypocrite. Just trying to be, priest and prophet and be the example of righteousness, but at the same time you're abusing your rank, abusing your leadership and your authority,
right?
Because that ain't what Christ died for. Christ didn't die for that. Christ wasn't that way. You know what I mean? But again, you have to do that. You know what I mean? You have to be righteous. You have to be blameless. And everyone that wants to be right with the Most High, that wants to speak to the Most High or hear the Most High speak, you have to do that with your masters according to the flesh. That's what your masters according to the flesh are for. That's what Moses was for. You understand? That's what Noah was for. That's what Nehemiah was for. Ezekiel was for. Jeremiah, Christ. That's what they were for. For you to be able to go to and have that connection with the Most High, receive that word from the Most High, right? That's so right. You can't, and that's what Joshua was for, right? And then under Joshua, it was his people. So you wouldn't like Ayala just brought out. You wouldn't skip past the officers of the people to go talk to Joshua. You'll go to the officers of the officers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then the officers will go to Joshua, and then they'll bring it back down with the information. Like, you have to respect rank and order. It's the only way things are going to be respectful. The only way things are going to get done efficiently. The only way things are going to remain decent. All right. Where we at right now?
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5.
Read it again.
This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service as men pleasers,
right,
but as the servants of Christ,
right,
doing the will of Yahweh,
right,
from the heart,
right. Because like, don't please me. You know what I mean? Don't please me. Like, you're not doing this work for me.
Right.
You're not doing this work for me. You're not building this camp signs for Dawada. You're not holding these classes for Commander General Yohana.
Right.
That's not why we're doing these things. We're doing these things for the Most High in Christ. We're doing it for them. These are the things that we're doing in servitude, right? Servitude to the Most High in Christ, raising up our nation, doing the work of the Lord. Every component that it takes, everything that we carry out, all of the orders that we do is for the Most High in Christ. So I'm giving you order. It's from the men above me, which essentially goes back to the Most High in Christ. So again, like, don't do it to please men. Do it to please the Most High. You understand? Read that part again.
Come. This is verse 6. Not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart.
That's right. Doing the will of God from the heart. That was it on that?
Sir.
Doing the will of God from the heart, man. Like, you really want to do this. You really want to please the Lord. You know what I mean? That's why when it comes down to, when we have disputes amongst each other,
right,
disagreements amongst each other, our love for the Most High is why we're going to go to him and him alone.
Right.
Our love for the Most High is why a husband will pull his wife to the side, or a wife will pull her husband to the side. Our love for the Most High is why we won't beat each other. You understand? Or murder one another.
Right.
Or have sex with each other's wife. You know what I mean? Like, the love of the Most High, the fear of the Lord. Love meaning follow his law, statutes, and commandments. Fearing the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? All of these things tying together, and that's how those are the components that we need, that are vital for us to have salvation, not just from the white man, but from his culture. You know what I mean? From his traps. We can be saved from his traps, like single parent homes and mass incarceration and police brutality. All of those things are his traps. Those things come from not loving the Lord. You understand? Like, we explain it all the time that we're not in the position that we're in because white society is so great and they got so many great guns and predator drones. No, it's because we are sinning against the Lord.
Right.
It's because we're not obeying God. We don't really love the Most High with all of our heart. That's really, really why it's really happening. So we can't do this to please each other. You know what I mean? I'm not doing this to please him or to please myself. I'm doing it to please the Lord. You know what I mean? I'm listening and taking to follow these orders to please the Lord. Wives are taking the orders and following the orders of their husband to please the Lord. That's why it's happening. You understand? Go ahead and any more on that? Nah, I don't think it is. Drop that. Let me get let's get Second Ezra chapter 2 verse 40. You understand? And that's something this is gonna segue into what we were talking about to this right here. Like, being, wanting to please the Lord. That's something different. You know what I mean? Like, when a person, like I said, when you having this authority and being a part of this hierarchy comes with a responsibility, and that responsibility means at most times putting yourself to the side, not even caring about yourself. You know what I mean? Because charity suffereth long, right? You know what I mean? Like, we have to suffer in these positions and do the things that we need to do. That we need to do, and completely forget about what we want to do. Who cares about what we want to do? You know what I mean? It's about what the Lord wants us to do. Go ahead and read what you got.
This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 40. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. Verse 41.
So, like, you know what I mean? We'll read that one more time.
Come. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord.
Right, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. He's what this is metaphoric for is saying that these people are being given power. They're being given reward or earning a crown. Right? How do you earn the crown? What does it say at the end?
So like it says, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord.
That's what it is. You earn your crown by fulfilling the law of the Lord. So again, that's where rank comes from. That's where that opportunity to be in rulership comes from. Right. You have to want that. You have to earn that. You understand? It's just not being given because, like I said, I like him. He cool. He did that backflip. The way he did it was flawed. Something cool about him. I'm gonna give you this rank over these people. Like, no.
Right.
You earn it by fighting who you are, who you were, fighting what you want, fighting what you were taught. Not caring about yourself, not caring about your wife, not caring about, getting high, but caring about what the Most High cares about. You understand? Caring about what the Most High cares about, to be able to put down your own personal beliefs, put down your own feelings and everything else, and to take up something that's greater, which is what? Read it again.
It says,
that last part.
Sir, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord.
Right, which is the law of the Lord, man. Go ahead and say something now. You got it.
Because the precept, I think the first precept you brought out, there was one precept that said that you can't strive for mastery lest you strive lawfully, right? Which is what this is saying too.
Say it one more time.
It says you cannot strive for mastery lest you strive lawfully.
That's correct. That's a good precept, Bart. That's an excellent precept. So when it comes to obtaining a crown, which means authority,
right,
and power, you have to earn it. You understand? You have to earn it, and earning it means the law of following the law of the Most High, following the law of brotherhood, following the spirit of Christ. You know what I mean? Being pleasing the Lord. All of those things, right? How to love one another.
That's right.
How to deal with one another, how to, what to do and what not to do. It all goes back to the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So when we do those things, we show that sacrifice, that's what you're doing that shows a sign that this person is ready to be a ruler.
That's right.
He's ready to rule over these people. He's ready to rule. He's ready. Like, a lot of brothers claim that they want to date. I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier. I'm a warrior. I'm gonna fight for God and do this now. They ready. They doing about. You know what I mean? Because they just in this physical mind state.
Right.
But what does the Bible says? The weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Right.
And we battle not with flesh and blood. Like this is a spiritual battle. You have to become more seasoned at following the laws, at being perfect. That's where being a warrior and being a soldier comes in at. That's what it means to be a soldier. That's what it means to be a master, right? It says the master is according to the flesh. Like he just said, the master, you cannot, what is it? How he said it again?
It says you can't strive for mastery unless you strive lawfully.
Right. You know what I mean? Striving for mastery, like being a master according to the flesh, having lead over thousands and 10,000s and 5,000. You have to strive for the law. You have to strive lawfully. You have to fight those demons. You have to take the counsel. You know what I mean? Same thing when it comes in the household. I'm tied in, because a lot of us get so caught up on the bigger picture that we need to just take that magnifying glass and look at it from a smaller point of view. Like I said, Adam and Eve, was the beginning of all of this order and rank and and giving of the law and all of that.
Right.
And they wasn't an army. They were just a husband and a wife. That's it. You know what I mean? So you got to know that these things are the basic foundations of having a quality life, which is salvation. Having salvation and ultimately having dominion, inheriting the kingdom of heaven, inheriting the land and the dominion over the land, and so on and so forth. Like those things come from striving after the law, like fighting your flesh. You know what I mean? And having that means what? Being under the order of Christ.
Come on, sir.
You understand? Being under you wanted to add something else?
That was good.
You know, being under the order of Christ. Being under the order of Christ. And when you're under the order of Christ, it's usually going to be one man. There's always going to be one man that's being chose, right? To rule on the earth. You know what I mean? And that man is going to have someone under him, and they're going to have someone under them. So essentially, your salvation is going to come from listening to someone who's an officer of 50. You understand? Listening to someone who's an officer of 50, and that officer of 50 listening to him that take that hat off, that put everything back the way you found it now. You understand? Everything being in order, right? Learning the 50s, learning from the 500s, 500s learning from the thousands learning from the 5,000s, 5 from the 10s, 10s from the 13s, 13 to the shields, and to the to the commanding general, to Christ. Like all of that, man. Mm-hmm. All of that is how we're going to stay in line, stay in order, and have all of the things that we need. All right. So what did we just read just now? Okay, yeah, earning your crown. So let's drop that. Let me get 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Earning your crown, man. Like you cannot force someone to be a ruler. Some people are not going to be rulers. Some people are not going to be, adequate enough to be over, a family or over a nation. You know what I mean? Some people need to be taught how to be a father and how to be a husband, or even how to be a mother over their children, right? So like we need all of this the order and that law to be able to teach that and have that, right? Because then we can have at least we can have men that are over families and that are over women, and women are over children that are at least running their household correctly. You understand? Not necessarily every man having to be on the front line for the community. See what I'm saying? Like to go to war and to deal with the problems of everyone. Like, so again, like, you have to earn those things, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take tutelage, it's going to take sacrifice. But rank and order, as well as that fear of the Lord, is vital for us. Go ahead and read.
This is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder.
Right. You know, understand? Ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Right. So in this case, right now, we see a lot of men and women who are adults, but are children though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we have to gauge, this elder and younger based on wisdom.
Right.
Right. We have to base it on wisdom. Because again, there are some men, who are not able to be rulers, right? Who are not able to be rulers, that they need to be followers. And what should they do?
It says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves.
That's what they should do. Elder. They should submit themselves, right? You should submit yourselves under the men of the Lord and just learn how to be a good father. Learn how to be a good husband. Do that. You understand? Okay. Learn how to be a good mother. Learn how to be a good wife. You understand? Learn how to do that. That's where you start at. You know what I mean? And it is all based on wisdom. It's all entirely based on wisdom. Go ahead and read.
Come on. Yea, all of you be subject one to another.
All of you be subject one to another. Because again, like you're not just submitting to somebody that's just the head over everything. You're submitting to somebody that's submitting to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, and he's submitted to somebody that's submitted to somebody else. And all the while, we're all submitting to the Most High.
Right.
You understand? We're all submitting to the Most High in Christ, and that's how we're able to keep these ranks and these companies tight, keep them pure, keep them, strong. Okay. Any more on that?
Come on, sir.
Good.
And be clothed with humility.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you got to be clothed with humility. Like to be honored to serve is a great act of humility. Like I'm not worried about how somebody's going to be looking at me because I'm holding the door in the kingdom of heaven. You know what I mean? I'm in the kingdom of heaven. I'm holding the doors of the kingdom of heaven. You know what I mean? Like it's bigger than me. You know what I mean? So again, having that humility, not about being it always being about yourself. You know what I mean? Because that mentality is what we learn from other cultures. Glorifying themselves, self-glory, self-worship, worshiping, something else that just makes us feel good.
Right.
But that's not what the Bible is about. That's not what real love is about. You know what I mean? Real love is about suffering for someone else. Being humility, having humility to be able to serve someone else. You know what I mean? To be able to be a part of the greater, you know, the greater purification or the greater salvation of our nation. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Any more on that?
Just like one last sentence. For Yahweh resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble.
Right. Because you the brother and the sister that wants to be the head, because like they don't want to serve.
Right.
That's who the Lord doesn't choose to be the head. That's because they're striving after what? Mastery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to be the masters. That's all you want to be. But you should be striving after the law, which will tell you to show humility. You know what I mean? Be humble. It's not about you. It's not about ego. It's not about power. It's about the law. It's about efficiency. It's about honor. You know what I mean? For your nation, for the love for the Most High. Right. So again, the Lord don't choose brothers and sisters to be over anything. You understand? Unless they going to be what? Humble. Be mastery, striving after, like he said, after the law, trying to become better themselves. You know what I mean? A brother told me, motherfucker, Officer Malagwa told me, his experience and, in council, and how he realized why a lot of people don't want to go to council, because when we have disputes against each other, it's easy to believe like I'm right and you're wrong, or he's right and I'm wrong, right? Because that's what we believe, we're right. But in the same time, we know that going to council is not going to be like, yeah, he's wrong, get him. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's going to be like, who's right, if I'm right or wrong. So we go into that situation like trying to figure out like, oh man, I might go in here and be told I'm wrong. Because a lot of the time that's what it really is.
Yeah.
It's something that you need to look at in yourself. You know what I mean? That's why in Matthews it says, well, how can I consider the splinter that is in your brother's eye, but not consider the beam that is in your own eye? You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's us and what we have going on that's the problem. So again, striving after the law would be able to help us perfect ourselves. You know what I mean? And then with that, you start to see, you start being given power. And you don't want it. You wasn't looking for it. You didn't want it. Here you go now. You're being raised up to an officer of 5,000. Here you are being raised up to a wife. You know what I mean? Which is a crown. You understand? To be raised up to a wife is a crown. It's a very high position. You know what I mean? Especially when you talk about the type of men that we are producing for women to be able to marry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like these are prizes. This is fine gold. So again, like you working on yourself, you'll earn a good husband. You'll earn a husband and earn the right to be a wife. You'll mess around, and now here you are being raised up to an officer, being raised up to a captain, so on and so forth. And that stuff will come. And then when you get in those positions, guess what? You're able. Because you fear the Lord. All right. Drop that. Let me get one more scripture. Let's see. Hebrews 5 and 12.
Hebrews 5 and 12.
I mean, this is gonna be the last scripture, and we're gonna end the class out. If anybody got any questions, you can ask them. I mean, if you want to check in, if you're in the San Antonio area or the surrounding metropolitan area, you should be checking into these classes, getting your attendance taken, so you can be able to start working towards, you becoming perfect, you becoming a part of this order. You know what I mean? That we have established under Christ, through Commander Junior Hunter. All right, so go ahead and check in. You know, your house, Shemar, throw by Shemar, shout out for the sisters. It's checking in for whatever city that you're in. Same thing for the brothers. Your house, Shemar, young man, such and such, checking in from, you know, wherever city that you're in, and get your attendance taken so we can go ahead and start moving you forward to having that perfection and being that soldier that the Lord called you to be.
Right.
Go ahead and read.
This is Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. Mm-hmm. For when for the time ye ought to be teachers.
So like again, you know, like we can't be like he said, we can't be striving to be masters without one thing. Go ahead.
Ye have need that one teach you again.
Right. You can't be wanting to be a teacher if you're not going to be taught. You can't be a master if you don't learn from a master.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't get there. You can't do that. You can't be a general if you don't learn from the generals.
Right.
You know, you cannot do that. You can't be that. You have to learn. You have to be taught again in order for you to be a teacher, in order for you to have that reputation of rank or leadership or rulership. It's necessary, you know what I mean? And again, I like to make these classes universal, and because it goes into the sector of a family itself. Like all of those things that it takes to be a husband, all of what it takes to be a wife, you have to be taught those things. You have to be taught those things. If you never seen a good wife or a good husband and seen these relationships, what a lot of us know as normal, that broken homes is normal for us, then you cannot think that you're going to be a wife without being taught how to be a wife. You cannot think that you're going to be a husband without being taught how to be a husband. No different that you're not going to be able to be a trooper or an officer or a captain or a general or a ruler of your people. You have to be taught first. Read it from the top again.
Come.
Turn that down.
For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
Right. You understand? That need of milk, man. Meaning, because like we just said, like the younger, meaning the ones who don't have the wisdom,
right?
They can't be given positions. You know what I mean? They can't be given this tutelage that's like so far advanced. Like you got to break it down for them in crumbs and like, you know, just milk, what the scriptures call it, milk,
right? For
them to be able to suck from it like a baby. You know what I mean? Right. To drink the milk before they can be able to get something that they can be able to chew on,
right?
And before they can get to the point where they can be given power. You know what I mean? Or given a husband, or given a wife, or given rank. Like these things are showing that when not only rank important on having things decency, but we have to keep the ranks pure. You have to keep the ranks pure. You know what I mean? There are certain qualifications and certain abilities that are required, and certain levels of conduct, a guaranteed of conduct that's required to be able to be over something.
Right.
You understand? Like I said, they ain't just talking about an army over a military, but just a mother over a child.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a father over a mother, over a wife. You know what I mean? Like these things are very important, and you have to have a certain level of guarantee of conduct, a certain level of understanding, certain level of tutelage before you can fill those positions. Because if not, they will end horribly. It'll end in chaos. It'll end in dispute. It'll end in confusion. And that's what we see the normality of what we see today.
Yeah.
And that's because we lack the laws and statutes and commandments. We lack that leadership. But the Rocket the Yahweh shot for Commander General Hana and the I.S.U.P.K, you understand? Because we are that military structure. We are those able men that the Lord chose to be rulers over the people. And we are we are giving these brothers and sisters who are the people that structure back, that guidance, those tools, you know what I mean? That zeal to be able to be, prosperous and be healthy and quality and have salvation. All right. So with that, we at I.S.U.P.K, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, under Commander Jenny Hanna, established in 1969. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. You got the prayers and stuff. We started we're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We teach the truth according to the Bible that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the Hebrew Israelites. With that, We're gonna pass the class over to Trooper Ayala one.
Security announcements?
Yeah, we can do the security announcements first.
Okay. These are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for the new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, is found in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Ma'ashra means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund is a free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We currently are in the middle of the Feast of First Fruits, which started after the Sabbath of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, sundown, which was on Sunday, May 2nd, 2021. And the Feast of First Fruits goes for 50 days, and we are to celebrate the 50th day, which is going to be Sunday, June 20th, 2021, before sundown. This is found in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 10 through 22. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. This is conclusion of the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. Lord's Prayer. Come.
You can do it in Hebrew.
Come. This is the Lord's Prayer found in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verses 8 through 13. We're going to read it in the Hebrew first, the ancient Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwaka. Taba'ah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Nathanaw. Lakam. Kal. Yawam. Wasalaknaw. Kawawathnaw. Kasalaknaw. Kawawathinaw. Wala'ah. Tabaya'ayanaw. Banasaya 1. Abal. Kawashayanaw. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahatapa'ara. La'aiwalamyam. Aman.
We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. All right, Sarah, turn and face the front. One courtesy salute for the brothers. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat. Imadium, Barak, Yahweh, Shabbat, Men of Israel, Yazmatah. One more courtesy salute for the sisters. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat. Imadium, Barak, Yahweh, Shabbat, Yazmatah. Class dismissed. What's on curry? I'm right.
Shit was nice.
Yeah, man.